Hey guys, it's Stoof here from Travel SzN. Welcome to our Colorado travel vlog. We visited Colorado between March and April of 2021. We started out from Moab, Utah. You can check out our Utah vlog in the video link in the description under this video. But starting our travel adventures with Colorado, we headed from Moab over to Montrose, Colorado, where we stayed at the Riverbend RV Park. This was a really nice RV park. We enjoyed this one. You're right along the little river there. There's a fishing lake right behind the campground. There is a walking trail, bike trail just up the hill from the campground. And this was a really dog-friendly campground, also very well kept, maintained, and very clean. So we enjoyed this one. While we were in Montrose, Colorado, we did two things. First, we went to Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park. And this is what happens when you don't do your research before going to a national park. The day before we went to Black Canyon of the Gunnison, I decided to go on the National Park Service website for this park, and I realized that over half of the features in the park were closed because it's still their off-season and there still is a lot of snow. So we took advantage of that and did the one hiking trail that was open. So we're at Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park on March 28th. And there's still a feet of snow here.
The whole place is closed, except for one trail that's covered in snow.
There's no fee to enter the park, probably because everything is closed.
Yeah.
He said slide on your butt the whole way down.
I'm not doing that.
Down the hiking trail. He hates me right now. So Nate just finished telling me this is his favorite hike he's ever done in a national park. Right? After visiting Black Canyon of the Gunnison and completing all the things we could do there in one day, we went to an alpaca farm the next day. I found this on TripAdvisor and I thought it would be fun since we had a day without a lot of things going on. Let's go check out the alpacas. So we scheduled a tour and the tour guides, the people that live and work at this farm, were really friendly and very knowledgeable. They told us all these different things about the alpacas and their habits and how they take care of them. Lots of really neat stuff, and it was really cool to be this close to the animals. Alpacas apparently really like being hugged right by their neck, so that was cute. We had fun there.
Jimmy Jones! Jimmy Jones! Jimmy Jones.
And then on our last day in Montrose, Nate still had to do some work, so we checked out of the campground. Nate did some work from a vacant parking lot, and I tormented him for 2 hours, and then we went down to Mesa Verde National Park, where we stayed at the Mesa Verde RV Resort. On the drive down, we stopped at an overlook near Telluride, Colorado, saw some beautiful mountains, and I decided to paint them. We pulled into the RV park and we fell in love with this RV park as well. If we ever come back to Mesa Verde, we would definitely stay here again. This is the Mesa Verde RV Resort and it's just down the hill from the entrance to Mesa Verde National Park. The sites are very spacious, it's quiet here, there's a pond in the background, and you can see Mesa Verde from the RV park. So we really like this one. We took one long day to visit Mesa Verde National Park. We visited this park before the tours were open. I'm not sure if it was due to COVID or due to the weather, but no physical tours were happening. Just the hiking trails were open and we could see the cliff dwellings from the overlooks. I was very pleasantly surprised with this national park. I am usually not a huge fan of archaeology and that kind of stuff. Nate is, so he really enjoyed this park, but I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. This park is both physical and spiritual. The park rangers put together an app with an audio tour that you can listen to. I'll leave a link for that app in the description below this video so you can download it before you go to the park. I have a video coming out soon for our time in Mesa Verde National Park. I will leave a link to that in the description below this video as well as soon as that's available. After Mesa Verde, Colorado, we packed up the trailer and headed east toward Alamosa, Colorado, where we stayed for about a week and visited Great Sand Dunes National Park. We have a video about our time in Great Sand Dunes National Park and some tips for new visitors, what they can expect in the park. If you'd like to check that out, we have a link in the description below this video. Great Sand Dunes National Park is the park I was looking forward to the most, and it probably wasn't my favorite. It was a lot of fun at first, and then the wind picked up, and the wind just kept hitting me in the face with all of those grains of sand. Even with the wind, it was very cool to experience this park. I would definitely go back. A lot of people don't even know that this national park exists, and it's pretty cool to see in person. Some of these sand dunes are over 700 feet tall, and you have the Sangre de Cristo Mountains right behind the dunes, so it is beautiful to see, especially at sunset. We saw some amazing sunrises and sunsets on these sand dunes. In addition to hiking in Great Sand Dunes National Park on the dunes and dune boarding a little bit, we did some hiking on the Bureau of Land Management land that is southeast of the park, and we went up into the mountains just a little bit, didn't get all the way in there because we started to get into some heavy snowpack and icy conditions, so we decided to turn around. But that was a fun little hike we took Zedge on. It was a very fun four-wheel drive getting up to the trailhead for this hike too. After that long hike, we went back into downtown Alamosa to San Luis Brewing Company for some delicious brewskis and dinner time. We were eating outside because we had Zedge with us, and as we're eating outside, we keep seeing a random German Shepherd running back and forth across the main street, just in and out of traffic and then going up and down the sidewalk, and he didn't seem like he belonged to anyone, so we called him over. He was friendly. He wasn't the best friends with Zedge. We kind of had to keep those two apart, but he was really friendly towards us, and we held him there. We told the restaurant staff that we found this German Shepherd and we don't want him running in and out of traffic. So they called the police. It was an evening, so all of the shelters were closed at that time, so we called the police and we waited for police to come. We went up to a cop car and gave the dog to the police and never heard from him again. So I really hope that that dog found his home. We've been thinking about him for a few weeks after this encounter. I really hope he's okay. After we wrapped up Alamosa, Colorado, we packed everything up and headed northeast-ish to Colorado Springs, Colorado, where we stayed at Cheyenne Mountain State Park. This was one of my favorite camp spots on this whole trip. Had everything you need. It had full hookups, spacious sites, beautiful views. The only downside is that you are directly uphill from Fort Carson, and they will play those bugles every morning at 6:30 a.m. and wake you up for your day. This state park has a lot of small hiking trails in the camping area as well, so we would take Zedge on walks for some of these trails. Some trails don't allow dogs, but some do. Fun fact, Cheyenne Mountain is also home to NORAD, also known as the North American Aerospace Defense Command. During our time in the Colorado Springs, Manitou Springs area, we visited Garden of the Gods one day, where we hiked along the nature trails. And then we drove up into Manitou Springs and had some delicious ramen from a little ramen restaurant. The next day we did the famous incline hike in Manitou Springs. You can see this hiking trail as you're driving up to it, and it looks very intimidating. This trail has over 2,700 steps to get to the top of this mountain, and it is not an easy hike. We made it to the top, but we had to take a lot of breathers there, and I was impressed. You could tell some people do this almost every day just as part of their exercise routine, and they are in great shape. This is very tough, strenuous hike, but it's not like the worst thing I've ever done.
Oh, it isn't?
Yeah, I think half jump's harder. Once we made it to the top of that hike, there's a little loop trail you can take that gives you some views of Pikes Peak and the other surrounding mountains, so we did that trail, and then came back down, ordered some takeout for dinner, and then just relaxed and finished up our time in Colorado. The next day we packed everything up and started to head home for Pennsylvania, taking I-70 most of the way home. We had a pretty uneventful drive back other than some intense fog for a portion of the drive. We slept overnight in a Cracker Barrel parking lot for the first time. And then once we made it home, we had the fun task of unloading the trailer with everything we had in there the last 2 months. We'll be home spending some time in Pittsburgh this summer and then heading back out west later this year. We're going to be spending some time in Glacier National Park in Montana. We're very excited for that one, especially me. Also going to be heading back to Yellowstone, Grand Teton National Park, and then maybe visiting the Black Hills of South Dakota on our way back if we have time for it. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our fun travel adventures. And if you have any questions on what you saw in this video or you needed some tips for your travel adventures, just leave a comment below and I'll help you out as best as I can. Thanks for watching, guys, and happy travels! Bye bye!